In the heart of the Roman Empire, far from the marble columns of Rome, nestled among the jagged hills of Hispania, there lived a man named Caldus. He was not a senator, nor a soldier, nor a merchant. Caldus was a lamplighter in the provincial town of Segabriga. Each evening he would walk the winding paths of the city, lighting the bronze oil lamps one by one, starting from the main square and ending at the high temple on the hill. His was not a task of glory, but one of rhythm and patience. He carried with him a long torch and a small leather-bound journal in which he wrote thoughts as they came to him. Many mocked Caldus. He was quiet, walked alone, and when not lighting lamps, he sat beneath a cypress tree with his journal open, speaking little to passers-by. Children sometimes threw stones near him for sport. Young soldiers laughed behind his back, calling him the mute flame. But Caldus did not answer them. He would simply nod and continue his path, as steady and indifferent as the moon's rise. One autumn, the governor of the province, Marcus Aurelius, arrived to inspect the region. With him came entourage, order, and as often happened, corruption. Taxes were raised overnight, and soldiers pressed citizens for bribes under the guise of protection. One evening, Caldus lit the lamps along the governor's path and bowed silently as the carriage passed. Lucius noticed the old man and asked, "Who is this creature that carries fire and says nothing?" A centurion replied, "A local fool, a lamplighter who writes riddles in a book no one reads." Lucius, ever vain, laughed. "Then let him write of tonight. Let him write how the governor walks under his little flames." That night, Caldus wrote, "Even a tyrant needs light to see, but light does not choose whom it serves." Days later, rebellion sparked in the market. A merchant, driven to ruin by taxes, struck a soldier with a jar of oil. The act was small, but it ignited a fire across the town. Riots spread, the governor fled, soldiers looted, fires consumed homes. Caldus returned to the square after the flames had quieted. The lamps were shattered, the temple desecrated. He stood in the middle of the destruction and looked at his torch, still unlit. A young man named Publius, who had often laughed at Caldus, now stood beside him with a bandaged arm and sunken eyes. "They destroyed everything," he said, "all we had. Where is your book now? Where are your precious thoughts?" Caldus did not look at him. He knelt and began to rebuild the first lamp. "You don't understand," Publius said. "The world is burning." Caldus replied softly, "Then let us find what cannot burn." Publius scoffed. "What good is a man who lights lamps when the city is in ashes?" Caldus paused. "The fire outside is not the greatest danger. It is the fire within, rage, despair, illusion, that truly consumes a man. If I can light even one lamp and not lose myself to those flames, then I have done well." The youth was silent. In the weeks that followed, Caldus continued his walks, though most lamps were broken. He carried a small flame in a bronze bowl, shielding it from the wind with his cloak. Wherever he found an unbroken post, he lit it. Children followed him now, not to mock, but to watch. Adults began helping, offering oil, repairing damaged fixtures. Even Publius took to walking beside him, carrying extra wicks. One night, after the square had been lit again, Publius asked, "Why do you write in that book, Caldus?" The old man handed it to him. On its pages were not riddles, but reflections. "You are not disturbed by events, but by your opinion of them. No man is free who is a slave to anger. To accept what comes with equanimity is strength greater than any soldier's." Publius turned the pages slowly. "These are Stoic teachings?" Caldus nodded. "Wisdom borrowed from the greats, tempered by the years. But you are just a lamplighter." "A title," Caldus said, "as fleeting as a shadow. The soul does not ask what you do, only how." A month later, a new governor arrived. This one was sterner, less flamboyant, but feared chaos. He summoned Caldus, having heard tales of his composure during the riots. "You did not rebel, yet you did not flee. You did not preach, yet the people listen. Who are you?" Caldus bowed. "A man who lights lamps." The governor frowned. "What do you want, then?" Caldus looked him in the eyes. "Nothing, except that you remember. A just ruler needs no fear to govern." The governor said nothing for a long while. Then he dismissed Caldus with a nod. Years passed. The city healed. New lamps were erected, now in honor of the man who had lit the first after the riot. Children grew up hearing tales of the lamplighter who never raised his voice nor clenched his fist, and yet whose calm shone brighter than the fire that burned the city. When Caldus died, his journal was placed in the library beside scrolls of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. On the first page, someone had inscribed his final words. I did not control the wind, but I adjusted my flame. That was enough. Stoic lesson. Caldus embodies the core Stoic ideals. He accepts what is outside his control, the storm, the riot, the cruelty, focuses on his own actions and character, and lives by reason, not emotion. His quiet discipline becomes a beacon for others, not through preaching, but by living philosophy. Stoicism teaches that virtue lies not in dominance or reaction, but in mastery of the self. Like Caldus, we can carry light in dark times, not by fighting every shadow, but by refusing to let it enter our soul.